Thank you for coming to do this with me today.
Happy to.
Yeah. So I always just like to start this with having you tell everyone about yourself, like where you're from, what you do, how did you end up in Nashville?
So I'm Jordan Huffman. I'm the council member for District 14, which is mostly Hermitage, a little bit of Donaldson. I'm originally from Northeast Tennessee, Greenville to be specific. Went to college at East Tennessee State University in Johnson City, and moved here in 2012, January 2012. I've been really organizing on the neighborhood level for the past decade, and decided to run for council to better my community this year.
Yeah, how has it been so far?
It's been great.
Yeah.
You know, it's exactly what I expected. It's a part-time job, right?
Yeah.
It's definitely a full-time commitment, but definitely having a lot of fun.
I get that. From just putting out a couple of interviews, I've already seen people responding like to the council members that I've interviewed so far, hey, I need this fixed, I need that fixed. So I'm sure you're hearing from the constituents a lot.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. On the way here, had an issue with a street light actually, so it never stops when you're in this job.
Never. How long have you lived in this area?
I've lived in this area since 2013.
Okay.
When I moved originally to Nashville, I had a single bedroom apartment off Edmondson Pike. I feel like most of us have lived in or around that area at one point.
Yeah.
So lived there for a year and started looking for a permanent place to live, and fell in love with the Donaldson Hermitage area.
Yeah. Why do you think this area is so unique compared to different areas of Nashville?
I love it for multiple reasons, but number one, it's got a little bit of a small town feel to it, you know, a mid-sized feel at least, which is very nice. And we've got a little bit less of the hustle and bustle of the downtown area, but we still have all of the amenities, which is just wonderful. From my front door, Brittany, it's a 5-minute Uber ride to the airport. We take advantage of that a lot. You know, parking at the airport is very expensive, so that's definitely a big spot if you're doing a lot of traveling throughout the country.
And it's nice because you come in from the less busy side of town, so you're not hitting some of that airport traffic like we saw during Christmas.
Yeah. It'll be really nice when they have all of the interstates fixed. That's for sure. So I'm very encouraged by the progress so far. It looks like they're going to be coming in about a year under, which will be really good. My commute, I work in Franklin a couple of days a week. We'll be very thankful for that. It's a little bit rough going through 40 West right now.
I guess for you, you know, it's been a little over 10 years now that you've been here. How have you watched this area change?
Oh my gosh, you know, so I've been coming to Nashville since I was a little boy. Both my parents were teachers, and both were involved in the teachers union. And so we would come to Nashville all the time for conferences. And it's amazing the transformation that the city's had since the 90s. It's really amazing the transformation that it's made since 2012, since I've been here. Somebody showed me a picture actually that they took with me. It was from the summer after I moved here. And you can see the background of the skyline in the background, and we counted buildings, and I think we were up to about 10 that are there now, and that number is still growing.
Yeah, I know. I've looked at even some pictures from just 2 or 3 years ago, and it's like, wait, there's 3 buildings there now where there weren't anymore.
Yeah.
So looking at the future for this area and being someone who's now able to kind of influence that, what are your big plans? What do you hope to see here?
Yeah, so number one, where you're sitting right now is going to be at the center of a project that I'm very excited about, calling it Downtown Hermitage. It's going to be a really great benefit for everybody that lives around here. Essentially, it's made up of the library, police station, and community center corridor, if you're familiar with Hermitage. And around this is going to be a downtown-like look and feel community filled with shops, sidewalks. Hopefully, we've got to fund those first, obviously. But the point is it'll connect all of the neighborhoods around here. We're looking to add a lot of other amenities as well. So still working on those, but right now we're within walking distance of Ravenwood Park as well. Definitely the area's really newest park, and probably one of the better ones. We're sitting on currently 200 acres in that park of developed land, and we have 600 more to go. So phase 2 is going to be within my first term, and that's going to be really, really massive for what that's going to look like for the area.
Okay. So I want to touch on some of your favorite spots in this area. If people live here or maybe they want to venture out here for a weekend, where would be your best place to grab dinner?
Yeah, so best place to grab dinner, you've got to go with the Hermitage Steakhouse. It hardly gets much better than that. They've got one of the best salad bars in town and definitely a good cut of meat.
Awesome. I'm going to assume this based on where we're sitting, but what about best coffee?
Oh, well, Flower Your Dreams Bakery and Cafe on Dodson Chapel Road, definitely. It's locally owned, which is wonderful. It's within walking distance of the park, which is also a nice amenity. So come grab you a cup of coffee, something sweet, and take a walk.
I was going to say, this seems like a best place for a couple of things, like pastries, sweet treats. I saw some of their cakes on Instagram. Those look incredible.
Yeah, everything's good. You cannot go wrong here.
Yeah. What about getting outside with the family or yourself? You want to go on a run, a bike ride, good greenways or parks? Where would you recommend?
Yeah, Ravenwood Park, all day. We do have a Greenwood access right at the bottom of the Coles parking lot, which is near Ravenwood Park. But it's important to point out that Ravenwood Park is also connected with our greenway system. I mentioned before that we have 200 acres that are accounted for on this land right now. It's amazing because, number one, you've got a modern playground with basketball courts and all kinds of stuff. It does have one particular slide that terrifies parents just because of the height. I don't know if you've seen that thing or not, but I get complaints on it all the time. The kids love it, but it is very tall. So we have 200 acres that's developed, right?
Yeah.
In my next term, we're going to be developing another 600, and 400 of that, or excuse me, 200 of that is going to be a natural grassland. We're going to restore this land to species that existed 400 years ago, and I'm working with the Parks Department on that. When we're done, it's going to be amazing. Also, just a quick push for something I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
That will start in Ravenwood as a part of the beta of this program, but starting a wildflower program in Nashville as well. I will be producing legislation next month. Essentially what that's going to look like is a partnership between the Nashville Department of Transportation and the Parks and Recreation Department to pick areas where indigenous wildflowers can grow, so seeds that are native to this area, which can obviously help in multiple ways. You're increasing pollinators, you're increasing the overall home values just because you're making the area more beautiful, and you're decreasing the amount of litter that's on the roads as well. You're more or less likely to throw something out of your window if you see some flowers. So working with them to grow them on common areas and then hard to mow areas as well. This is meant to be a cost-saving initiative as well. So the idea is you can plant some wildflowers instead of maintaining something an entire season.
I love that. That'll be gorgeous. And I agree. I feel like less people are going to want to throw their trash into something that looks like a well-maintained garden than just a median, you know. I agree. Yeah. Okay, what about I don't know, maybe something that's really unique to this area, like a theater, an event that you have every year, or something like that people may not know about, maybe a hidden gem?
Yeah, so back in 2021, I, along with a small group of individuals in the Hermitage community, started the Hermitage Christmas tree lighting. The first one in Hermitage's history. Not even Andrew Jackson did it, which is a little amazing, you know. And we partnered with the Nashville Library, the Hermitage branch, just right down the road, and we planted a live tree. Every year, this has been just an event for the entire community to look forward to. The tree itself, and I said this at the first lighting, it would grow a foot a year, and as the tree grows, the community around it will as well.
Yeah, I love that tradition, and I can't believe it's taken this long to start something like that.
I know,
but yeah, that's great. All right, anything else that you want people to know that you don't think we've touched on about your district, things that they can get involved with?
Yeah, come see us in Hermitage. You know, we get forgotten about over here a lot, but we have a lot to offer. We've talked about a few places that you can check out where you can eat, where you can grab a cup of coffee. Definitely check out Ravenwood, but we've got a lot to offer over here.
What about historical sites?
Well, the biggest historical site is the Hermitage, home of
Yep.
Andrew Jackson. And that is an amazing experience if you've never done it. It's really cool to have a presidential home in your backyard, and it's amazing that the property itself is still mostly intact in the time that Jackson owned it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that that's here or have never been. And once you go, it's a really neat place, and it's a good place to take visitors, kids. I mean, the whole family.
Yeah, there's a lot of historical references around here to Jackson. Of course, you've got Donaldson, which was his wife's maiden name. Jackson Downs, right behind Target, is where Andrew Jackson raced racehorses.
Wow. Okay.
So he has ties everywhere across this area. So really, really cool.
Okay. What if people want to get in touch with you? They have something going on. What would be your recommendation?
Yeah, you can always get in touch with me on social media. I'm at Jordan Huffman TN on Facebook and Instagram, at Jordan Huffman on X, and you can always reach out to me at jordan.huffman@nashville.gov as well.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.